Nothing will stand in our way.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
I will finish what you started.
Who are you? I'm no one. There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
The Force. It's calling to you.
May the Force be with us.
My nerd road.
Just let it in.
Oh, Jabba. Why does she get a blaster and I don't? Oh, Jabba.
I am staring at the first official image from Star Wars The Last Jedi, Episode 8, and Daisy Ridley is staring deep into my soul. We do have some breaking news on the podcast this week. It is episode number 78 of the My Nerd World Star Wars podcast. Welcome to it. I'm your host, Jon Justice. Unfortunately, not joined by Drew and Sam this week. Schedules did not permit. Also, did not permit for us to get part 2 of last week's episode 77 podcast done. So, I decided rather than do a part 2 and then a episode 78, we're going to go ahead and just roll into episode 78, and I will fill in the news that we were supposed to cover last week on episode number 77. We did go to Trondheim, Norway. Unfortunately, it was about 200 some odd miles north of where Finse is, which is where The Empire Strikes Back was filmed. However, I did get a chance to see the city from out the window of the aircraft on our way flying up on our last leg from Amsterdam to Norway. So, essentially, we did fly over Hoth, much like a snowspeeder, but did not have a chance to go and visit. Hopefully, both Drew and Sam will be back on the podcast again next week. But until then, let's get right into the breaking news. As I mentioned a moment ago, the first official image has been linked from Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
And we actually have several pictures to talk about this week, but this one is of most significance. And this is what normally happens. We're not expecting now to get a trailer until Celebration in Florida in April. So right around April 13th or 14th, we should get the first trailer for The Last Jedi. I still anticipate there's going to be something short released, maybe a teaser, and then a longer trailer in between. It seems like a long time to wait to get any footage whatsoever. Now, that being said, okay, stranger things have happened. It seems to be that is what the schedule is for Disney at this point in time. I hope we don't have to wait that long. However, I am staring at a banner image that's been created that shows Poe Dameron, Daisy Ridley, and significant changes to Daisy Ridley, and also John Boyega. What this is the artwork for the merchandise packaging. And this is normally what happens when we begin to creep closer to the release of a new film. The first official images that we end up getting sometimes end up being product images. And what these are basically photographs of empty boxes that the products, the Star Wars products, will go into. And often they'll just have let me do myself a favor here. What I'm looking at right now is actually a banner that was created. Somebody photoshopped. They took it's kind of a sideways shot of a box, and it says Star Wars in the corner. And then they have the labeling on there, but it's non-specific. So it just says action call-out, product name, product description. In the bottom left-hand corner, it says from the new film, Star Wars The Last Jedi, feature call-out. And what we have here is a red box, red logoing. It looks like a motif of triangles and stretched rectangles, providing a bit of background. But the big item on here is the picture of our trio. On the left, you have a profile shot of Poe Dameron in his X-wing outfit, wearing his fighter helmet. And I thought, when I first saw the photo, I thought that the helmet he was wearing was of a different design. It looked really similar to the one in The Force Awakens, but I did a side-by-side comparison shot. And it seems to be exactly the same helmet he was wearing. Maybe a little bit more weathering. I think there may be a little bit of difference on the lens. It looks like the bottom of the lens may have been cut and shaved a little bit, but it looks to be the same helmet. On the far right, you have a profile shot. You have a John Boyega standing forward, but his head turned into a profile shot. The significance of John Boyega in this is that he's still wearing the jacket that he got from Poe. However, he is wearing a different shirt. It looks like almost a shirt that Luke Skywalker would be wearing. It's a tan shirt with kind of a high collar and V-neck, and you can only see from about his mid-chest up. The big one, though, is Daisy Ridley, who, again, is staring right into my soul. She's looking at me right now. Daisy Ridley is front and center, holding the Luke Skywalker's lightsaber sideways. The big significance of this, she's got her hair down. Yeah, she does. Daisy Ridley has her hair down.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
I have, because Daisy Ridley has her hair down. So there's a couple of things about this. It looks to be some black underneath the clothes that she is wearing. It appears to be the same outfit that we saw her wear when she found Luke Skywalker at the end of The Force Awakens. But we have been told that there would be some alterations to it, and it would appear there's a little bit of black underneath some of the grayish tan layers. So a few things here. One, there looks to be a bit of a scar over her left eye. You could say it's the lighting, but it's a little too purplish, and I'm not seeing that lighting hit anywhere else, so it looks like she's got a bit of a battle scar, which could be from the fight with Kylo Ren in the Force Awakens, seeing that The Last Jedi starts up right when The Force Awakens left off. The other thing that I personally found significant was, and I think a lot of people will, is the fact she's holding Luke's lightsaber still. Now, in the promotional shots for The Force Awakens, before the movie came out, John Boyega had the lightsaber, and we all know how that turned out. But be that as it may, she is holding Luke's lightsaber. So, if you want to start reading into it, and why not? This is what we do on the podcast. You could say she's keeping the lightsaber. It's a really cool shot. It should be in the detailed description for the podcast. So if you're listening to it on your phone or on the computer, if you click on the details, you should be able to see the photo there. If not, I'll probably have it up as my banner ad on my Facebook page. But it's, again, first official image from the Last Jedi, and it's exciting to see, to know that this movie is coming out later this year. And I'm going to mention it again. You don't get hyped over photos like this for Rogue One. Well, at least I didn't. I get hyped and I overanalyze photos like this for the saga films, which I just want to mention again. This, to me, continues to drive home the point of how important the saga films are to the Star Wars franchise. And Daisy Ridley is staring right at me and looking into my soul. If she was actually in front of me with a lightsaber right now, I'd let her strike me down. Just so I could become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
I have, because Daisy Ridley is staring at me. All right, let's move on. Now, the other image we got this week was director of The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson, tweeted out a photo. And the photo is on par with the black and white, sort of artsy. They look like Instagram photos. They're done in black and white, obviously done on some old kind of film. But he tweeted out, "We're coming to Orlando for a Star Wars Celebration panel on April 14th. I cannot wait. See you there." Now, this, again, is the date that more than likely the full trailer is going to drop, just like it did a couple of years back for Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. The photo is a garrison of First Order stormtroopers. My bad, stormtroopers. I don't know. You got about 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know, 10, 15 of them in this shot. All grouped up. One of them in the back has his helmet flipped up. So, what is the significance of a bunch of First Order stormtroopers? Well, the helmets are different. Not by a lot. They basically took, if we'll call it the nose piece, okay? They basically took the nose piece and they wedged it in a little bit. It's got a sharper point as it reaches the midpoint where the eyes are, and the mouth part of it, if you will, when you look at it dead on and sideways, is way more reminiscent of a previous stormtrooper helmet. It's not as what's the word I'm looking for? The other helmet compared to this is a little more flat. You have sort of an echo of the original stormtroopers. The way that they sort of bent that nose, that long nose piece, gives the mouthpiece a wider up part, and the sides are go down to a thinner point. So it looks a lot more like an old school stormtrooper helmet. And as a matter of fact, if you look back into the photo, there's two stormtroopers, First Order stormtroopers, right up in front. But if you look back into the photo and kind of get a distance on it, you immediately identify that mouth part looks like it's more like an old stormtrooper. So look, it's all beginning to happen. We are going to be getting very soon the DVD Blu-ray release for Rogue One. So Rogue One will have then sort of officially gone through its promotional cycle, and then it's game on for The Last Jedi. I'm dying to see the footage. I mean, that goes without saying, but I really want to see what Rian Johnson's footage, what Rian Johnson's footage looks like. It's going to look different, and I want to know what it looks like. I was a bit surprised by the official image from the packaging that we saw. I guess I shouldn't be. It's their promotional stills, marketing photos. I suppose I was expecting to see something a little bit different. I mean, without knowing the subtle differences that I pointed out, the average person wouldn't know whether or not that was a Force Awakens a promotional shot, or whether or not that was The Last Jedi promotional shot. And I only say that because my expectation of what Rian Johnson is going to do as a director is he's a little bit more artsy, a little bit, more unconventional. So I'm expecting that the film is going to have a bit of that kind of look to it. Looper is the best example I can give. But I've also mentioned before that when you watch Looper, it really, at least in my mind, matches up with a shooting style and aesthetic that's akin to A New Hope. So that has me really excited. So just to come full circle on this, I'm dying to see not just the details of the footage, but how Rian Johnson ended up shooting this movie. All right, let's move on to some other news. And I'm kind of working in reverse. I'm giving you all of the latest stuff that we've gotten this week, and then I'll double back to the stuff that we didn't cover in the rest of episode number 77. The final book in the Empire's End, the Aftermath trilogy. There's 3 books in the trilogy. It was Aftermath, and then it was Life Debt, and then the final one is Empire's End. In Empire's End, there are quite a few different spoilers given, background on the universe that I absolutely want to share with you. First off, props to Jeremy Conrad and FuriousFanboys.com. I'm reading directly off their website. These are some of the revelations that were in the final book in the trilogy after Return of the Jedi. All right, so sorry, my computer was locking up on me. My bad. By the way, did I mention that Daisy Ridley was staring into my eyes and she could see into my soul?
There has been an awakening. Have you felt it?
That's right, I did, because Daisy Ridley was staring at me. Aftermath, Empire's End is out, and we've already seen some of the big revelations in it, but there's one that could be big if it pans out. Mostly speculation, but there's a possibility the book hints